In an earlier tutorial, we mentioned how the spot healing brush is an excellent tool for removing small objects and imperfections from the frame. So in this photo, we could remove some of the birds from the sky, giving us a much cleaner background. Now this looks excellent, but what if I later decide I want to bring back some of those birds into the frame? If you're using the spot healing brush directly on your photo, you're making permanent changes to this photo. So when you save and close this file, there's no easy way to get these birds back later. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to remove these birds without making permanent changes to the photo. Rather than doing your retouching work directly on the photo, the best practice is to do it all in a separate layer. When you do retouching on a separate layer, you're no longer making permanent changes to your photo, giving you the flexibility to go back and edit these adjustments later on. This style of editing is known as non-destructive editing because any of your edits can easily be undone. We could bring back 2 birds or even all of the birds if we wanted to. As our edits get more complex, this becomes increasingly helpful. Let's start over with our original image. First, add a separate layer. This is where we'll be doing all of our retouching work. Then, select the spot healing brush. Remember, when you brush over an object with a spot healing brush, Photoshop is painting with pixels copied nearby and seamlessly blending everything together. But notice on our new layer, we don't have any pixels to copy. All of our relevant pixels are on the image layer below. So we're going to turn on Sample All Layers on our spot healing brush. Now Photoshop will look for relevant pixels to copy on both our new layer and the image layer below. Now when we brush over our birds, Photoshop samples pixels from the image layer below, creating patches on a new layer to cover them up. So if we turn off our original image layer for a second, you'll see that all of these patches are located on our new layer. And if we turn off our patches layer for a second, you'll see that no permanent changes have been made to the photo. Isn't that amazing? So why go through all the trouble of retouching on a separate layer? This gives you way more flexibility to change your mind and make edits later on. Now, sure, if you're making simple edits and you change your mind right away, you can always use the undo command to get back to where you started. But if you're doing more complex edits and you change your mind later on, the undo command won't solve your problem because you'll lose all the other work you've already done. Fortunately, if these retouches are on separate layers, we can go back and make changes at any time. This gives us way more room to get creative. Let's say we remove the house and the tree and the birds. And if we do all of these edits on separate layers, we can really experiment. We could do just the skater and the trees, just the skater and 2 houses. Anything we want. We could even remove the skater if we really want to make a boring image. This is the power of non-destructive editing on separate layers. So let's recap. The spot healing brush is an awesome tool for removing small objects and imperfections. And for maximum flexibility, it's best to do your retouching on a separate layer so you can always go back and make changes later. Now it's your turn to practice retouching on separate layers with your own photos. Good luck and kiss those birds goodbye.